His Excellency has named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is possible.
Canelo Alvarez's hesitancy to fight Terence Crawford at super middleweight has sparked debate, with many claiming the Mexican champion is avoiding the toughest challenge of his career.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkana know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
Canelo Alvarez has once again raised the possibility of facing Terence Crawford in what could become one of the most talked about boxing events of 2025. During a recent appearance in London in the Ring Magazine Awards, Canelo sparked speculation about a potential bout with Crawford. His comments to the media suggested that while no official talks have been finalized, the possibility remains open, particularly as the two men, along with their respective teams, weigh the financial incentives that would accompany such a monumental showdown.
We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose situation for you. Do you think he's too small to compete with you?
No, he's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter.
The Mexican boxing legend's openness to the idea of facing Crawford has captivated the sports fan base, especially given the distinct weight difference between the two fighters. Canelo, who has made a name for himself by dominating at super middleweight and even stepping up to light heavyweight, currently competes in a weight class that is significantly above Crawford's typical fighting range. Crawford, the undefeated 4-weight world champion, is accustomed to competing at 147 pounds, and his most recent success came at 154 pounds in his victory over Israel Madrimov. Despite this, both fighters have shown interest in negotiating a deal for a fight, and the prospect of it has been championed by Saudi Arabian officials, particularly Turki Al Sheikh, who has been vocal about his desire to bring this bout to fruition in 2025.
And tell me to have the great fights. I don't understand. Give me good offer, and we give you good fight. You don't want. Okay, give it in your way. Instead of interest offer for him, and he doesn't respond with what we think is good for boxing. And this is right. But what the brother, he stopped this thing and instead he respects what he doesn't respect what we are doing in boxing.
For Canelo, whose career has been marked by lucrative heydays and major global fights, the prospect of facing Crawford presents both financial and strategic considerations. His decision to entertain the idea stems from the ongoing negotiations and his willingness to secure the best business deal possible. As he stated during his time in London, the focus remains on making the right deal, underscoring that despite the challenges, the door for such a fight has not been closed. With Al Sheikh's influence in Saudi Arabia's burgeoning sports scene, there's no doubt that a significant financial incentive would be on the table to bring both fighters together.
He's a smart fighter, and I take everything seriously. But we'll see what happens.
Canelo, I hope you make it happen for us, because we want to see it.
Yeah, thank you.
However, the obstacle in making the Canelo versus Crawford fight lies in the stark contrast between their weight classes. Crawford's typical fighting weight of 147 to 154 pounds is a far cry from Canelo's comfort zone at 168 pounds. Such a gap in weight presents a substantial challenge for Crawford, who would need to gain weight to meet Canelo in the super middleweight division. While the fight could attract significant attention and offer huge financial rewards, many in the sport believe that Crawford's ability to overcome this weight disparity would be a tall order, even with his exceptional boxing skills.
You fought them both. Like, what are the differences between them?
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. They both hit hard because, and you could see the strength when I was fighting against Crawford. He is very strong as well. So, look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
David Benavidez, the WBC mandatory challenger for Canelo, looms large as a potential opponent in 2025. However, Canelo has shown reluctance to face Benavidez, leading some to speculate that Crawford may be a more attractive option for the Mexican star, particularly if the conditions are right. The financial aspect is certainly key, and while Canelo has made it clear that he would demand a substantial purse for the fight, the timing and logistics of such a matchup remain uncertain. Even with the promise of a lucrative payday, the question of whether Crawford could realistically challenge Canelo in his prime weight class looms large.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
For his part, Crawford has been vocal about wanting the fight with Canelo. Following Canelo's dominant victory over Edgar Berlanga, Crawford took to social media to make his intentions clear. He directly addressed Alal Sheikh, rallying for the fight to be made, a move that only added fuel to the speculation. Crawford's bold statements, including declaring that he would beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez, have captured the attention of boxing fans, who eagerly anticipate any developments that could lead to this dream fight becoming a reality.
Yo, Turkey. Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Just put me in the game. Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight in boxing. But we stay ready though. Stay ready. That way we don't gotta get ready.
Despite Crawford's confident declarations, many boxing analysts and fighters are skeptical about his chances against a fighter of Canelo's caliber at 168 pounds. Some argue that the weight disadvantage would be too great for Crawford to overcome, regardless of his technical brilliance in the ring. British promoter Eddie Hearn, who has worked with Canelo in the past, expressed doubt that the fight would come to fruition, particularly given Canelo's reluctance to accept the challenge. Hearn suggested that Canelo could win the fight with relative ease, as Crawford's smaller frame would put him at a distinct disadvantage against someone as powerful and experienced as Canelo.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, like, you know, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? You know, Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so guess we could see it next.
In fact, several other boxing figures have echoed similar sentiments about the difficulty Crawford would face in moving up to 168 pounds to take on Canelo. While acknowledging Crawford's technical prowess, former world champion Tyson Fury also pointed to the size difference, noting that Crawford's natural weight class would likely prevent him from being competitive at super middleweight. Fury believes that while Crawford would have a chance in a lower weight class, at 168 pounds, Canelo would have the upper hand.
Hi guys, Tyson Fury here. Here we have Terence Crawford versus Alvarez. Very tough fight, different weight categories, and what weight would this fight happen and who would win? I don't know. Do not know. At 168, I'm going to say Canelo, and 140, I'm going to say Crawford. So I'm going to go with Canelo.
Bob Santos also believes that it would be a step too far for Crawford if he faces Canelo. He stated, "I think it'll be a step too big for him, but he has earned the right to try it. I think Canelo would be too big and too strong for him at 168. I could be wrong. He could prove us wrong, but for the most part, I think that's just a lot to ask of Bud to go to 168. I may think it's a step too far, but that's what makes him great. That's why he was able to win at 135, 140, 147, and now 154. And he's been successful every single time, so he's at least earned that right. That's what makes him great." Some, like Andre Ward, refuse to write Crawford off entirely, acknowledging that he is a fighter who excels in the ring regardless of the weight class. Ward suggested that Crawford's skill set could still give him a chance to win, but only if he adjusted his tactics and fought with exceptional precision. His belief in Crawford's abilities stems from the fighter's adaptability and ability to adjust during fights. While Ward conceded that the challenge would be monumental, he also recognized that Crawford has the tools to compete against Canelo in a way that few other fighters could.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
However, there are many who believe that this potential matchup is not in Crawford's best interest. Bernard Hopkins expressed concerns over Crawford's well-being should he decide to pursue the fight. He questioned whether the financial rewards would be worth the physical toll on Crawford's body, especially when there are other, less risky, and potentially more rewarding options for the Nebraska native.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo, fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic. It makes sense and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight. And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. Similarly, Jim Lampley weighed in on the situation, expressing skepticism about Crawford's ability to handle the weight difference. He pointed to Crawford's previous fight against Israil Madrimov as evidence that he might not be suited to face a fighter of Canelo's stature at super middleweight.
What do you think about the fight now that you just witnessed Canelo Alvarez again in the masterclass performance?
I love Terence Crawford and I want him to have what he wants. But off of what I saw tonight and what I saw in Los Angeles last month when Crawford was fighting Madrimov, I am more than ever concerned that he's not big enough and not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that he would have to ward off those really vicious inside power shots.
Paulie Malignaggi also advises Crawford to stay at 154 and fight the likes of Virgil Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora, and Tim Tszyu. While Crawford is not the physically strongest fighter at 154 pounds, Malignaggi believes that his exceptional boxing IQ and skills allow him to compete with anyone in the division. However, he cautions that it is not without risk, given Crawford's age of 36 and the highly competitive nature of the 154-pound division. Paulie stated, Crawford's not necessarily the strongest of fighters at 154 pounds, but his IQ's so high that he can compete with anyone there, just not without risk. He's in a very competitive division, and he's 36 years old. The prospect of him fighting Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Serhii Bohachuk, or Madrimov again is very appealing. On the other hand, Tim Bradley voiced his belief that Crawford is more than capable of pulling off an upset, despite the weight disparity. After watching both fighters closely, Bradley became convinced that Crawford would have the upper hand in the matchup. He argued that Crawford's skill and adaptability would allow him to overcome the size disadvantage and outclass Canelo in the ring.
Woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez.
Devin Haney made it clear that he supports Crawford if a fight were to materialize. Haney expressed his admiration for Crawford, emphasizing his belief that Crawford is currently the best boxer in the world, both inside and outside the ring. He stated, I can't go against Crawford. I with Crawford. I like him in the ring. Out the ring, I think that he's the best right now. I'm rocking with Crawford. When discussing the possibility of Crawford handing Canelo his third defeat in 66 bouts, Shakur Stevenson acknowledged the challenge that such a fight would pose. While he noted that Canelo's size, power, and ring IQ make him a formidable opponent, Stevenson also believed that if anyone could pull off an upset, it would be Crawford. Though he remained realistic about the difficulty of the matchup, Stevenson's confidence in Crawford's abilities was evident.
As well, I know you're going to back Terence all the way in that fight, but how big of a fight is that? How difficult of a challenge is it moving up in weight?
I think it's very difficult. Canelo got the IQ, he got the size, he got the power, maybe. It's a very difficult fight, but I think if anybody could get it done, it's Terence Crawford.
On the other hand, Dimitri Bivol, who respects the importance of weight classes in boxing, shared his own perspective on the potential showdown. He mentioned that one of the first things he learned in the gym was to respect weight divisions. Nonetheless, Bivol, a fan of Crawford's skills, hinted that Crawford might still have a chance against Canelo, given his technical prowess. While he refrained from giving a definitive prediction, Bivol admitted that he could envision a scenario where Crawford could prevail, praising both his and his trainer's ability to adapt and strategize for such a monumental challenge.
I remember when I came to the boxing gym, one of the first lessons which I should learn, it's like you should respect weight classes. You know, yeah, what it means. But Terence Crawford now is one of the favorite fighters, active fighters. I mean, he has good skills, very good skills. Maybe he could.
Whether or not the fight happens, it is clear that the prospect of Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford has generated significant excitement in the boxing world. Fans, analysts, and fighters alike have all weighed in on the potential outcome, with some backing Canelo due to his size and power, while others believe that Crawford's skill set could allow him to overcome the odds. So what are your thoughts about this situation? Do you want to see a Canelo-Crawford fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.